call to order the meeting of the West Windsor Township Board of Health. Sharon, were we adequately noticed?
Yes, we were. We were noticed January 5th, 2018, to the Times and to the packet. And prior to this meeting, we were in a closed session to discuss certain matters which were exempt from the public, and that meeting was noticed on February 12th, 2018.
Okay, would you all join me in the salute to the flag?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Is there any public comment having specifically to do with health matters? Seeing none, we have one action item, the Board of Health minutes of November 13th. We have any comments on those minutes?
So motion to approve the November 13, 2017 Board of Health minutes.
Second.
Okay. Roll call vote?
Bree?
Yes.
Jeevers?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Vanzari?
Abstain.
Miller?
Yes. Okay. Discussion. Is there anything that the, Board of Health member, anybody have anything to say?
Other than wash your hands, it's flu season. I have to say that.
I did notice that our health officer, Jill Swanson, will be going to a seminar regarding the issues involved with the legalization of marijuana. And if she could please, hi Jill, if you could please send us a little memo about what you've learned after you go, which you haven't gone yet. Will do. Thank you. Mayor, administration, any Board of Health comments? Well, now does anyone have any public comment on health issues? Seeing none, can we have an adjournment of the Board of Health meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries.
All right, I'd like to call to order the West Windsor Township Council Business Meeting of February 12th. Were we adequately noticed?
Okay, we're online. Yes, we were adequately noticed. We were noticed for this meeting on January 5th, 2018, to the Trenton Times and to the Princeton Packet.
We've already saluted the flag. We do have a ceremonial matter. We have a proclamation signed by everyone commending the members of the fire companies who applied for and received a grant. It is traditional for the mayor to read proclamations. Would you please read it?
Thank you very much. They don't give this to me beforehand, so I'm reading it for first time if I make a mistake. So, before I read, let me wish Wayne happy birthday. Facebook doesn't keep any secrets. So, whereas Michael Stevens, a volunteer of the West Windsor Volunteer Fire Company No. 1, and Brian Doyle, a volunteer for Princeton Junction Volunteer Fire Company No. 1, worked diligently at writing a grant application to the United States Department of Homeland Security, Federal Emergency Management Agency, Assistance to Firefighters Grant for the two volunteer fire companies. And whereas their goal was to receive federal funding for replacing self-contained breathing apparatus for the volunteer fire companies and not have to rely on taxpayer funding or resident contributions. And whereas they took the initiative to work collaboratively on their own personal time to accomplish a common goal for both fire companies, and whereas their efforts proved to be successful and the fire companies were awarded a grant from United States Department of Homeland Security Federal Emergency Management Agency Assistance to Firefighters Grant in the amount of $318,026 with a 10% match from the fire companies. And whereas the grant awarded will be utilized to purchase self-contained breathing apparatus commonly referred to as SCBA for both fire companies. Now therefore be it resolved that West Windsor Township Mayor Hemant Marathe and the Township Council wishes to recognize and commend Michael Stevens and Brian Doyle for taking their personal time to write and secure the grant that will enable both fire companies to keep their firefighters safe while in the performance of their job. Thank you very much.
We have copies of this for each fire company and each gentleman who took the time. Aisha, would you like to hand these out? You're on the end there. A little less awkward.
Thank you to both of you and everyone who serves.
Thank you. Now, who wants to make a public comment on any subject?
Sylvia Ascarelli, 27 Melville Road. Just want to thank all of you for the ordinances that you'll be considering later tonight on the construction easements for another phase of the sidewalk project on Cranberry Road. It's also really great to read in the packet that construction could happen before the sidewalk, before the bridge construction is done, and that you could be out for bid soon and construction happening April-ish. Thank you very much, all of you.
Donald Watrous, 131 Cranberry Road. First, I'd like to talk about the Clarksville-Cranberry-Millstone intersections. On February 1st, Mayor Marathe announced in the West Windsor Peeps Facebook group that the Cranberry Road is on schedule to reopen in May. At the same time, he asked for opinions on two options, either two permanent lights at those intersections or none, as were things before. Quite a discussion took place, with more options being offered, including keeping the light at Cranberry Road in Clarksville and making Cranberry and Millstone either an all-way stop or a mini-circle. Additionally, making Cranberry Road one-way during rush hours was also suggested. Regarding the Cranberry and Clarksville light, I think this intersection is much better with the light. I have one such suggestion for improving it, though. For traffic hoping to make a right on Red from Cranberry onto Clarksville, it's difficult to know when it's safe. When the light is green for Clarksville, there's no problem with the right on Red. However, if there is a green arrow left turn for Cranberry traffic coming in the other direction, right on Red there is hazardous. During the daytime, without traffic moving or waiting on Clarksville, it's hard for even those familiar with the intersection to determine which is the case. We've heard stories of some people assuming right on Red is always okay and not even bothering to stop at the light. I would suggest an arrow for the right turn there, essentially mirroring the state of the light for Clarksville traffic. That is, when the light is green for Clarksville, the right turn arrow would also be green. When the Clarksville signal is red and the opposing traffic, Cranberry traffic, is shown a green left turn arrow, the right turn arrow for people trying to make a right on Red would be red. so you would know whether it was safe to make the turn. The backup on Millstone and Cranberry has been nearly eliminated since the Cranberry Road closure. Traffic flows so well that some Millstone traffic now fails to stop to see if there is any through traffic on Cranberry, much to the chagrin of us residents. Prior to the closure, the Millstone backup was due to through traffic on Cranberry Road from both directions. While the light at Clarksville may have some positive impact on traffic heading toward the train station, most traffic coming from Clarksville will turn right on Millstone. It'll have no effect on traffic coming in the other direction. Of the three options suggested for that intersection, a light, a mini circle, and an all-way stop, I think the mini circle would be the best if it can be done. It's usage sensitive in that it doesn't stop anyone from proceeding when other traffic is not in the circle, unlike stop signs and lights which do stop cars even if there's no other traffic. And it prioritizes throughput in an orderly fashion. Always stop signs necessitate all traffic stopping, even when no one else is there, and it would probably be more confusing with several vehicles there. I would probably prefer a light to an always stop signs if it can be coordinated well with the other light, but I fear that traffic would end up being trapped between the two lights. I'll cut it off here, but thank you very much. It's nice to see things happening.
Thank you.
Can you email those comments too?
I'll mail them.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I agree with your comment, especially on four-way stop signs. I think they cause more problems than they solve. Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, administration comments?
You are leaving its most exciting part of the meeting now. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, we appreciate it.
Municipal offices will be closed Monday, February 19th in observance of President's Day. Waste Management will operate regular trash collection on Monday, February 19th. Please have your trash out at the curb no later than 6 a.m. to ensure it is not missed. West Windsor Waterworks membership applications for the 2018 season are now available on the West Windsor Recreation website, as well as the West Windsor Recreation Department office. Lifeguard applications are now being accepted for positions at West Windsor Waterworks. Applicants must be certified in lifeguard training, first aid, and CPR. For the professional rescuer, employment is from Memorial Day until Labor Day, and applications are available at the Recreation Office and the West Windsor Recreation website. The other comment I wanted to make was a second draft of the 2018 reexamination report of the master plan for West Windsor Township, dated February 5th, 2018, is on our website under current news. That's all I have.
Mayor?
Yeah, just to add to that, the planning board will be discussing the re-examination report at the next planning board meeting, and that's probably the last chance for you to comment on the report before it's finalized and filed, and then the actual work on the master plan will start. So if you have any comments, the report is, the first draft of the report is on the website. Please email your comments to the planning board chair. I have comments on... Sorry, comments on the three different topics. One is, as promised, I have given the budget to the council, and they are going to hold hearings next week, 2 full-day meetings next week to do the budget, and then it will be introduced in March. About the lights, the county is going to come to the council meeting either at the next council meeting or the one before after that, with a proposal to put a permanent light at Millstone and Cranberry Road. And at the same time, I have asked council members, and that's one of the reasons I had posted on Facebook, because the original agreement was that once they put the light in, then they were going to do traffic counts and decide if the other light, we want it to be stay there or be gone. The way I understand it is one light won't work. And the light, the temporary light currently is not a smart light as they say. So it cannot sense traffic and change the timing of the lights depending on the traffic. So we would not get a good assessment of whether the two lights will work or how they will work if the current light is temporary. So I am going to ask the council, and I have already emailed them, to consider making both lights permanent at the same time. The circle won't work because they did look at the circle, but the circle will be too small because the school buses have to drive over the circle. There is not enough turning radius for the school buses to go through it. And if the circle is not very tall, some cars may drive over it as well. So that's why they are not in favor of putting a circle there at Millstone and Cranberry because of the school buses. So they did look at the circle, and they can talk about it. So do come to the meeting, next one or the one after. The sidewalks, the contract for the first phase of Cranberry Road sidewalks is already given, so they are just waiting for the weather to improve. There are 3 ordinances on the agenda tonight, and there's going to be one more at the next meeting because the person hasn't signed off yet. But then the second phase, everything will be in place. And we still hope to finish the first and the second phase before the bridge opens in May. At least that's the hope. So that's what the status is.
Okay, thank you. All right. Council member comments this week. We're starting with Virginia.
Okay, great. First, I just wanted to talk about a safety issue. This morning, I was at the intersection of Clarksville Road and 571, and there was an emergency vehicle, an ambulance, approaching from the other side. And I was at the light waiting, but it was crazy. The ambulance was coming. I heard it first, then I saw it coming. No one stopped. No one pulled over. No one got out of the way. This ambulance was making a right onto 571 going towards East Windsor, and so there was there was only oncoming traffic coming from like the Woo Remart area, and luckily there was a break in traffic and they could turn, but if they had been going straight, the cars crossing Clarksville didn't even slow down. I couldn't believe it. So I just want to remind people at home who are watching, if there is an emergency vehicle, whether it's an ambulance, a fire truck, a police car, any kind of an emergency vehicle, you're supposed to get out of the way. You're supposed to slow down, pull over, stop, give them some room, because they may be going to try to save somebody who could be critically ill or injured, and sometime it may be you that needs that ambulance to get there quickly, or the fire truck, or whatever. So I was totally shocked, so please just keep that in mind whenever you hear those sirens or see those lights. On a happier note, on February 3rd, I went to the West Windsor Library, and our police department was there with our K-9 unit, which was very cool. They came out to have the little kids come and have a book reading. There's a gentleman who wrote a book about a K-9 police officer, and he was inspired by a police dog that had been killed in the line of duty. And this was years ago, and he said, you know, someday I'm going to try to do something to help these dogs who put their lives on the lines for us. And so he wrote this children's story. The name of the dog in the book is also Solo, but it has a happy ending because it is a children's book. And he came with his 2 daughters who are actually pictured in the book. And they were showing the pictures, you know, to the little kids. I was the biggest kid there. And he read the story for them, and then they got to, you know, see Officer Cerno, our K-9 officer, afterwards, and Officer Montgomery, his partner, and it was really cool. And all the money from these books goes to outfitting K-9s in New Jersey, K-9 officers in New Jersey, with body armor and emergency types of things that they might need, you know, oxygen, first aid kits, those kinds of things. And he's been doing this in towns all over New Jersey, and it's pretty cool. So he did have books for sale there, but you can also get them on the web. It's bigdogbooks.net. If you go to .com, you won't be able to find it. BigDogBooks.net. And it's also on the West Windsor PD's Facebook page in case you want to look it up there. But it was really cool. Thanks.
Jodica?
Thank you. I attended the Maurice Hawk Science Fair this past Saturday. It was such a great event that brings the community together, and it's an opportunity for the kids to showcase their talent in the sciences. I want to commend the Maurice Hawk PTA for this event, and I applaud the enthusiasm of the kids and the parents. Thank you.
All right then, Aisha?
So it is that time of year where we are less than a month away from the Arts Council Gala. March 3rd is the gala. This is a great event. It is, I think they call it the hottest party in town. It is literally the hottest party in town. It's a great, great theme this year as well. So get your tickets. Because I've been sort of caught behind the 8 ball a little bit, I haven't signed my kids up for camps. Now, at least the Arts Council still has availability, which is good. Our rec department has some really great offerings. So really get signed up for camps. It's not too early, as I'm finding out I'm getting shut out of a lot of kids' camps. But definitely consider those options. Thank you.
Linda?
My thanks to Michael Stevens and Brian Dole for getting that grant money, and that's phenomenal to get well over $400,000. It's a lot of work doing, grant and getting it, but they put in the time with the support of their fire chief, so I just wanted to extend my personal thanks on that. As the mayor mentioned, the council budget deliberations are going to begin soon, and I guess Sharon will be putting up the dates of when council will be doing that.
They went to the website today. I'm not sure if they've been posted, but
Right.
they
Good.
might be posted now.
Right, and all of our budget deliberations are open to the public. Those meetings, you can make a comment. I think we usually do that at the end of the meeting for those that stick it out with us all day. And they're also taped, so if you can't come, you could also watch if you're interested. One question just for the administration is regarding the property, that little house on North Mill Road. It's actually on the community park property, because I guess one of our employees who has now retired has moved out. So I just, maybe next meeting or something, have a discussion or let us know what your plans are. Are we going to rent that house to somebody else? Will it become an affordable housing unit, or what we're going to do with that? Because we're not getting any revenue from it. It's vacant. So it's just something to think about. It's a small one-bedroom Cape Cod sort of style house. So I just wanted to bring that up. And finally, happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Okay, it's this Wednesday. So, thank you.
Mayor, you wanted to
No,
respond?
I'll talk to Marlena and get back on that issue.
Yeah, the Affordable Housing Committee did mention that as a possibility, always
Yeah.
looking for affordable housing.
The one thing is, there are specific requirements with the leasing of publicly owned real estate, including structures. So there are some legal entanglements involved, and the renting of that unit has to be for a public purpose.
Correct. As you recall, when we had discussions over what to do with the other home that we had in our inventory, it became a bit of a hot topic of discussion because of the regulations that require us to do certain things. But again, I think affordable housing, we will look into those arguments.
Yeah, I brought it up to the committee, just to mention it,
I
because
think
it
it's
is a house.
I
I
think
don't
it's
know if it gets
something worth
grandfathered
considering.
in
Yep.
because of,
Well,
you know,
What do you mean by
affordable housing-
grandfather?
like regulations or whatever, because that house was there. We had an employee living there who I believe had a lease, paid us something for.
Correct, but I don't think any
renting.
I don't know that any grandfathering would apply here. But
No.
again, something
No,
we
he's
can-
gone, so...
No, I know he's gone, but the house is there.
No,
Yeah.
the statute is quite clear on the leasing of public property, so for whatever reason, I can't comment on why it was leased in the first place in the manner that it was, but now that it's no longer leased, we have to follow state law. In terms of the use of it for affordable housing, that's something that the mayor and I can discuss, and we will probably have to discuss with the construction code official, as well as with fire and emergency services because of life safety issues. We want to make sure that that the unit is code compliant. We may have to spend some money to bring it up to code, but we have to go down that path.
It'll be a cost-benefit analysis. Does it make sense? Because, of course, when you rent out a unit, you get the bonus credits for it for affordable housing. But is it worth, what is the state of it, and how much will it cost to fix it up? And is it a cost-benefit to the township to be able to fix it up and so forth?
Well, I know, so a few years ago, I mean, when Bob Harry was business administrator, I think they put in a newer roof on it and windows and stuff, so
Correct.
I haven't seen the inside of it, but the outside kind of looks nice.
Linda, we don't know the answers to all those questions, so
No, I know.
we'll
I
figure
don't-
out and
I
get
had
back
to
to you.
I believe we
I
would
just
call
wanted to
that
bring it up.
musing, but I think that...
No, I think that this is definitely worth looking into, and I do note that affordable housing has been considered an inherently beneficial use, so...
It has.
So that's one tiny little
To
hurdle.
quote Judge Jacobson in one of her decisions, yes.
Yes. So I went to the Central Jersey Transportation Forum meeting, and one of the issues they talked about was visions for the Route 1 corridor over the years. And somehow the visions haven't changed very much, but they are, let's just say, not particularly consistent with the ones that have been proposed for the corner of Quaker Bridge and Route 1 and recently. So that was heartening. But it was a very interesting idea that over the years it's been assumed that there will be more development along the Route 1 corridor and more opportunity for public transit to serve the development. I also went to the League of Municipalities Legislative Committee, and there was a discussion of affordable housing there, and everybody is eager to get Judge Jacobson's decision on West Windsor, and everybody was interested in supporting any legislation that anyone came up with that was of a kind that would lessen the burden on municipalities.
And I know our new governor has made statements to the effect that he would like to see COA reinstated. So we will see what happens.
That's what I said.
That's
We will see
a
what happens.
double-edged sword,
Waiting.
and
True.
I have read the transition team's report on housing, because Mayor Mironoff, who served on that transition team, was kind enough to email it to me, and there are things in it that are great and things in it that are not, and I will report again if I find out anything else.
If the mayors of communities like this in East Windsor, and I know our mayor will be engaged, and Marlborough and some of the other towns I represent can put whatever pressure they can on our state legislators and our governor, I think that would help.
Yes, it would. And I just reiterate what I've been saying for a quarter of a century: make it simple, make it easy,
Great.
and in 2 years you have affordable housing. Make it complicated, make it difficult, make it onerous,
And you and I make all the money.
and in 2 years you have lawsuits.
Yep.
Okay, so next we have the consent agenda.
Resolution 2018 R062, authorizing the reappointment of Melissa Hagar as a member of the Human Relations Council with a term to expire December 31st, 2019. We have the minutes of January 16th, 2018, business session as amended, and bills and claims.
Anyone want to take something off the, I didn't think so. Could we have a motion?
Yeah, motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Marie?
Yes.
Jeevers?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzari?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes, but I abstain on the check number 66791, which is a reimbursement to me for a conference I went to.
So noted.
Recommendations from administration and clerk.
Resolution 2018 R063, authorizing the business administrator to purchase goods from CDW-G as an authorized dealer distributor of HP Inc. under state contract M0483-89974 for $13,000. 2018 R064 is the approval of appraisal and authorization to submit an offer to acquire and negotiate the purchase of the Piera Investment Corp. Property based on the appraised value. If negotiations fail, authorize the filing of a condemnation action and disbursement of the appraisal with the Superior Court of New Jersey. The fund for that is $510,000. 2018 R065, authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute a contract with IBN Construction Corp. For the demolition of 2 township-owned structures and other incidental work as necessary at 1716 Old Trenton Road, and that's for $50,671. Resolution R066, granting the request from West Windsor Gardens LLC for a full release of performance guarantees for public improvements to Clarksville Road, PBO 503C. Resolution R067, granting the request for the Institute of Islamic Studies for a full release of performance guarantees for public improvements to Old Trenton Road, ZB 1101 SP.3. Resolution 68, granting the request from Boston Properties for a full release of performance guarantees associated with public improvements for Carnegie Center Building 804. The letter of credit number is 681-06708, and that's for PB 1404. Resolution 69, granting the request for Boston Properties for a full release of performance guarantees for private improvements for Carnegie Center Building 804, and this is the letter of credit 68106-712, also PB 1404. Resolution R70, granting the request from Asset Management on behalf of Verizon Communications for the full release of performance guarantees for private on-site improvements for the Selco Partnership Project at 24 South Mill Road, PBO 112. Resolution R71, granting the request from Asset Management on behalf of Verizon Communications for the full release of performance guarantees for private on-site improvements for the Selco Partnership Project at 1791 Old Trenton Road. This is PB 0907.
Anybody want to take something off that list? Discussion.
I had just a quick question from Marlena on R064.
Okay, anybody else, anything else? No, why don't you just ask your question?
Okay. So this is the condemnation for the Pereira property. I know we've discussed it in the past. I don't have an issue with the condemnation, just a procedural question. So I see that the escrow has been paid by the acquirer, right? We're condemning it, but there's 400 steps is acquiring it. Are they involved in the negotiations? So you're sending out this letter, making an offer according to the appraisal, in accordance with the, and then there's sort of a bona fide negotiation process that goes through. Is 400 steps involved in that?
My understanding is that they are not, that our condemnation attorney is taking the lead on this because that's his area of expertise.
Okay.
And there are procedures that will have to be followed as they are outlined in the backup material in the attorney's correspondence.
And the reason I ask that is simply just, if someone else is footing the bill on this, is the person who's footing the bill on it involved in the negotiations? so they know what they're paying for? Or is our condemnation attorney, which is this Jason Hinman, is he, I mean, who is the client here?
Mr. Hinman does the negotiations on behalf of the township.
Okay.
That work can be reviewed by the holder of escrow that pays that, but they do not control his negotiations.
Yes, we have an agreement, the township has an agreement which council approved between the township and the
Developer.
prospective developer.
And this is
Okay.
typical.
And that's outlined, that's exactly outlined in
Yeah.
that agreement.
Yeah, it is typically, this is the typical fashion of how redevelopment is done here in the state of New Jersey. You have a developer who is awarded by the township, which we've done. That developer does not control the condemnation process. They can only contest, the bills that they receive that are applied to the escrow.
So if the negotiation results in a $600,000 price tag, he's put $510 into escrow, but the settlement is, and the agreement comes to $600,000, he's bound by it?
Yes.
Okay. Who is paying for Mr. Hinman's services?
There's an escrow as part of the developer's
Yeah,
agreement.
It's just like an application for the planning board. The developer will have an escrow that pays for the planning board attorney's work.
Great. So I just wanted to make sure that since the developer is the one ultimately benefiting from this process that we are going
Correct.
through,
And he is
that his
therefore
fees are
paying for it.
paid by
Yep.
the developer.
Yep.
Great, thank you.
That is the beauty of the process, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right,
Can we-
motion?
Yeah, okay, just on this, can we take a vote just
Well,
on this?
we haven't done any of them, so why don't we
Right.
just do them all?
Well, because that way I can separate all the comments out on this.
Oh, okay. Well, then, can we,
I'll make the motion to approve 2018 RO64.
Second.
Second.
Linda won.
I just have a comment.
Yes?
Okay. Two gentlemen are eagerly waiting for this, so we are looking forward to the land getting developed. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Roll call vote?
Marie?
Yes.
Jeevers?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzari?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
You're welcome to wait.
All right, do we have a
you.
motion on 63 and 65 through 71?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Marie?
Can I make a comment on that too? I just want to reiterate what I said last time. The house that is being demolished, 1716 Old Trenton Road, some artifacts from there are going to be moved by the Historical Society and preserved, and I read the list of the artifacts at the last meeting. So for the record, the artifacts are going to be removed and stored at by the Historical Society.
Thank you.
Marie?
Roll call?
Yes.
Jeevers?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzari?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Madam Presiding Officer, if I could just make one comment, I didn't want to make it before the vote, because it really doesn't impact it, but if the council members could just take note, with regard to 68 and 69, there were some questions earlier on that were resolved by email, but you may want to note that legislation was just passed and signed into law by Governor Christie on his way out the door, under the MLUL, that prevents towns from collecting certain inspection fees and requiring bonds for on-site private improvements for new applications. This will have a pretty severe impact upon towns such as West Windsor, where there is development taking place. This was something that was negotiated by the developers and the engineers. For some reason, the League of Municipalities did not engage in this process, which was alarming to me because I did not know what was going on until it was too late. But it will have a pretty severe impact upon our town. Again, we believe it's another state-imposed mandate on the town, just like affordable housing. And it's quite unfortunate, in my opinion, as a
Well,
So how does that work?
Will the new governor likely override or
I have heard
introduce legislation to?
No. he
No,
won't.
I doubt that at this point. This was something the developers really wanted, they really pushed hard on. For some reason, the league did not engage. Instead, they referred it over to the municipal engineers. Not that our Francis Gusick had anything to do with it, don't blame him, but some of the municipal engineers were somehow engaged in the process. They thought they had a pretty good bill. In my opinion, they did not.
Thank you, Mike, for pointing this out, and please,
We will be circulating a memo on this in a little while as it applies to West Windsor. It applies differently to every town, so we're just trying to curb it to how it'll impact West Windsor, and we're working with Francis Gusick on that.
if you find out that there's any way that we can pass a resolution addressed to anybody, whether it's elected officials, appointed officials, that might mitigate the disadvantages to West Windsor, please let us know.
I will.
Thank you. Introduction of ordinances.
All right, 2018-01, the ordinance authorizing the acquisition of a temporary construction easement from Christopher A. Palmer and Kate Donald, located at Block 5, Lot 52, 63 Cranberry Road.
All right. Do I have a motion to introduce?
So moved.
Second?
All right, roll call vote.
Okay, who seconded that?
Simultaneously, Aisha and Virginia.
They're doing that a lot now. They seem to be in sync.
Barry?
Yes.
Chevers?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzari?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
The public hearing for this ordinance will be February 26, 2018. Ordinance 2018-02, an ordinance authorizing the acquisition of a temporary construction easement from Said Realty located at Block 5, Lot 77, and that's 59 Cranberry Road.
Like to move to approve?
Introduce.
Introduce, sorry.
That's okay, you'll get used to it.
Second.
Roll
We know
call
what you
vote.
meant.
Yeah, we always do. Everybody does that.
Barry?
Yes.
Chevers?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzari?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Public hearing will be held February 26, 2018. Ordinance 2018-03, an ordinance authorizing the acquisition of a temporary construction easement from Corey J. and Mindy S. Langer, located at Block 5, Lot 50, 67 Cranberry Road.
Like to move to introduce?
Second?
Roll call vote.
Marie?
Yes.
Stevers?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzari?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
And again, the public hearing for this ordinance is February 26, 2018.
Now, I'd like to point out that after this, there'll be one more property we'll have to get a construction easement from, and the rest of the properties going up to the bridge do not need construction easements because there's enough room in the county property, so they would be unnecessary. We're up to additional public comment.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Eileen Watrous, 131 Cranberry Road. I'm very happy about possibility of one-day walking, something that started in 1994 or 95, and I'm very happy about that. Thank you. I just have one comment about the park and the housing. I got to know Mr. King a little bit, and I don't know, anything more about it except for 15 years I walked my dog because I had no place to walk, as I don't know, probably said this too many times, Cranberry Road. And I came to that park in the morning before work and in the evening, and I got to see that, he did have 2 dogs of his own and a little fencing around that, but he was very aware of everything that was going on in the park, and maybe the next person who lives there can be, I don't know, do we have people that aren't going to work on the train every day and with 3 kids, here, but maybe somebody who has a feeling about our town, who works for the park, to be watching that park. He would take his walks at night. We told him if we saw something when we were walking our dog, and I know sometimes I walked behind certain areas and I saw things of evidence of kids around, and he just knew, and I think it's a safe thing to have a person there who works for the parks, or maybe, somebody who's in the police, or somebody who's doing some kind of work in our town, not just any, person with the affordable housing, but somebody involved in our town. And I think that's what I miss in this town, that there isn't enough, like, personal knowledge of people. I don't know what happened to him, that he, I saw him for maybe 20 years, shopping and stuff. It's like, okay, but, yeah, I just would like that personal feeling of somebody who cares about our town.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else? Seeing none, council reports. Linda?
The planning board met last Wednesday. There was an application for, I guess you'd call a new development, very small off of Bear Brook Road. It's actually across from the Estates at Princeton Junction and Grayland Drive there. So it's just 7 single-family homes, and then there'll be 3 townhouses, 2 of which will be affordable housing. I'm also the planning board's liaison to the Affordable Housing Committee. So, Allison, you're the liaison to
I was
the council,
at the
so we were both there.
So you talk about the planning board meeting, I'll talk about the affordable housing.
Right. So I guess there was just a lot of questions about parking. We spent a lot of time on that. And also questions about, I guess the Affordable Housing Committee had 4 main comments regarding the townhouses. There's 3, 2 are for affordable housing. So that application, the hearing will be continued, I believe, until the February 21st. We don't meet on the 14th of this month, so it's the following planning board meeting. March 7th. Okay, March 7th. Got that live update there, March 7th, okay. And also, I guess we all received the second draft of the 2018 reexamination report of the master plan. So please take a look at that. Sharon, have we put that second draft on the front page of the municipal website? Is it up there now?
It is.
Is it?
Okay,
I was
good.
going to say, I can't honestly say I didn't look, but I thought Gay had put it up.
I did look.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, good.
All right, Aisha? All right, Jodica?
I was at the Board of Education meeting on the 23rd of last month, and they passed a resolution related to harassment, intimidation, and bullying, and also discussed, Maurice Hawk School planned additions were presented to the Board of Education. Thank you.
Virginia?
Okay, the zoning board had their first meeting of the year on February 1st. It was a reorganization meeting, and then they heard an application for a resident who lives on Clarksville Road who wanted to add a 2-car garage to their property, and that was approved. The next meeting for the zoning board is March 1st at 7 o'clock right here in this room. And I also attended the Rec Commission meeting on February 7th at the new Rec office over next to the post office in that same building. We spoke about upcoming events. The Father-Daughter Dance will be held February 25th and March 4th. We talked about summer camps. They have some new offerings, and that's going to be online in the next couple of weeks, so people can start looking to figure out their children's summer schedule. We also talked quite a bit about doing a needs analysis to sort of gather information about what the community would like moving forward. And we spent a lot of time talking about the idea of a community building as well, something that could perhaps house, be for the sports teams to practice indoors, for Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts to gather there. Maybe have dances, other types of community activities and events could be held there. So we spent a lot of time talking about that, and we look forward to continuing those conversations, figuring out how we can best serve the community. Thanks.
Thank you. As you've heard, the Affordable Housing Committee met, and we reviewed the Bear Brook Homes application. It was interesting to see that the smallest townhouse had a living room, dining room, kitchen. And we didn't know that because there wasn't the word kitchen on the edge of the dining room. It was like an efficiency apartment. We had to go to the planning board and ask to find out where the kitchen was. They're changing that. Nobody liked it. We also, as Linda said, had questions about upkeep and homeowners association and parking. We also, at the Affordable Housing Committee, discovered that there is a way to have veterans' preference in affordable housing for veterans who have served in combat areas. There's a definition of that precisely that the Veterans Administration has. And we were all very enthusiastic about the idea of West Windsor looking into this. It has to be approved by the town and the developer. The way it works is you can't have it for 100% of a development. It has to be a lower percentage, 25%, 50%. And what happens is the people who qualify for affordable housing, who are also veterans, would get to the top of the list until that percentage of units is filled. And we all felt that if you have served your country under such hazardous conditions and you are qualified for affordable housing, it would not be inappropriate to give you a break. So I hope that the township will consider that in future. So that's it. Administration updates?
I have none.
Well, then, who wants to move to adjourn?
I do.
Always in
All in favor?
And we did this in, well, we started at 6:30, but still, darn it, with a
The
closed
business meeting was
section.
only 48 minutes.
Yes, I mean,
Wow.
we're doing really well.